Since already got questions on Trell Harris for us. I will make sure to ask Hootie about Trell on the show in moments. I just responded to him in a text and a comment.
Oh, cool.
He's watching in Mineral. Like and share the show, viewers and listeners. Like and share the show. A lot we're going to watch. A lot we're going to talk about on the program. We're in this kind of like we're in this exam period.
Yes.
And a lot of the athletes, you see it across the board, are focused on finishing exams. The last of the exams conclude today. Many of the athletes hung around grounds over the weekend into Monday, yesterday, to complete exams. Very unique scenario now where exams are not necessarily proctored in lecture halls or in classrooms and are very much finish the exams by a certain deadline at a location at your choosing with the honor code obviously in effect. So we'll talk about football, we'll talk basketball, we'll talk transfer portal. I don't put much into this. Tony Elliott's name's been popping up on some short lists for coaching vacancies.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'm not surprised either. I don't put much into it. But he is certainly well deserving, and perhaps it's an opportunity to up the perks of compensation for Coach Elliott and his staff. He was in the hopper on the short list for the Arkansas gig. One of the publications had him on the short list for the Michigan gig, which I'm not buying that. But when you have success, you're going to have interest from suitors. We'll talk about that. We'll talk Chandler Morris. Goodness gracious, everyone's asking about a 6-year. We'll talk about the defensive back, the cornerback that's entered the transfer portal already. I believe it's 3 Virginia football players in the transfer portal so far. I would imagine more will enter, but this team is pretty good and should get a number of players interested in playing for Virginia. So like and share the show. Everywhere you are watching, like the show, share the show. Judah Wickower, how are you feeling over there? It's great to hear, Judah Wickower. It's very good to hear. If you have a comment for Hootie Ratcliffe, put it in the feed. I will relay it live on air. So one thing I ask if you can look into, Judah, on my personal Facebook page, the videos, our shows are posting just for friends, and our friend list is vast at 7,000. But on my personal Facebook page, as it should be posting as public. If you could take a look at that, that would be huge. I want to make sure that it's. I've gone in and changed them after the show is aired to public, but I'd like for them to air for public from the get-go. Like and share the show, viewers and listeners. We can rock and roll when you're ready, J-Dubs. Good Tuesday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and thank you kindly for joining us on the Jerry and Jerry Show. It's great to connect with you guys through the I Love CVille network on a show that spotlights and features a household name, Jerry Ratcliffe, a Virginia Sports Hall of Famer and the namesake of JerryRatcliffe.com, your source for anything UVA athletics related. It's great to connect with you guys on any social media and podcasting platform you're watching this show upon. And goodness gracious, do we have some big-time football and basketball on the very near horizon. It is exam period on the grounds of Thomas Jefferson's University. So athletes have been focused on textbooks and tests instead of touchdowns and points scored. Virginia basketball returns to the hardwood against the Maryland Terrapins on December 20th. And we have a Gator Bowl matchup, guys, in sunny Florida about 11 days away from now. We'll talk all those topics, and we'll encourage you, the viewer and listener, to join us in the discussion by putting your comments in whatever chat box you're watching upon, and I will relay those comments live on air to Jerry Ratcliffe. Judah Wickower is the man behind the camera. He's the Elmer's glue. His production may not show up in the box score, but he is absolutely paramount to team success and our pursuit of victory lane. Judah Wickower, if you can go to the studio camera and welcome a man who needs no introduction, who is looking quite dapper and, from what I can tell, 100% ticking across the board. Is that a fair analysis?
I wouldn't go to 100, but
we're going to go 90% here, Eddie?
It's a lot better than it was this time a week ago. Let's put it that way.
We missed you last week, Hoots.
Yeah, I apologize I came down with something in Charlotte, and it knocked me for a loop.
Please don't apologize. It's that time of year. My friend, we start every program with the same way, with scatter shooting with Jerry Ratcliffe. You've made the word scatter shooting famous in the Mid-Atlantic and across Wahoo Nation. The show is yours. Scatter shooting on any topic you want to cover.
Well, it's pretty quiet on the Virginia front right now, and everybody's just gearing up to get restarted once the exams are over with, and so there hasn't been a whole lot of news filtering out of there since they entered this period, and just giving everybody kind of a chance to breathe and reset.
They have a football game of tremendous significance on the 27th, the Gator Bowl.
Yes.
Right now, Virginia, depending on where you shop, and the line moves, folks. So this is the line as of Tuesday, December 16th, has Mizzou as a 7-point favorite. The over-under at 48.5. Missouri is a tested team from the Southeastern Conference. We'll talk about that. We'll talk Chandler Morris, transfer portal, 3 guys already in the portal. It's important to emphasize, although you've entered the portal, that does not mean you cannot come back.
True.
And there's a defensive back that's entered the portal right now that, fingers crossed, he does return to Charlottesville because he was an all-ACC selection. And we got to talk some basketball as well. First, this Gator Bowl matchup. Where do you want to begin?
Well, they're going to have their hands full because they're facing the SEC's top rushing team and the ACC's top rusher, and that's nothing to ignore. I mean, we all know the quality of football in the SEC, and to be able to be the leading rusher in that conference that's built on not only physical toughness but speed, that says a lot. And so now Missouri has lost their offensive coordinator in the last couple of days. He's taken the head coaching job at Washington State, so he will not be around to call the plays for the Gator Bowl. Eli Drinkwich, the head coach, or perhaps the wide receivers coach, will be calling plays. So that could have some influence on their offense for sure. But that's something that I'm sure John Rudzinski is focusing on right now, is taking a look at how to slow down that running attack.
The break is a time to get healthy, and it's a time to focus on the next opponent. Can you put in perspective the health of this Virginia football roster?
Well, the last time we had an opportunity to talk to Tony Elliott was, I think, a week ago, a little over a week ago, right after the ACC championship game. They had a Gator Bowl press conference, and at that point he declared his team pretty healthy. They were waiting to see more imaging from Trell Harris, who got injured in the game. There has been no official update on him since then, so we're not sure what his status is at this point, or how serious his injury may or may have not been. So, but other than that, he declared the team pretty healthy.
Trell Harris, a key wide receiver for this Virginia football team. His health is, and questions about his health are all over the comment section right here. Will there be more insight on Trell Harris prior to kickoff, or is this a wait and see?
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be at least one, if not a couple of opportunities to meet with Elliott and players as soon as the exam period is over. So we will get an update on him. I'm just not exactly sure when. I haven't checked my email today, but I'm sure we'll get an update on his status.
You mentioned Tony Elliott, the ACC Coach of the Year.
Yes.
Is the drawing a lot of attention. He was on the short list for the Arkansas job by 2 media outlets. He was, interestingly, on the short list for the Michigan job, which I'm not necessarily buying, on ESPN. This was a couple of days ago. That outlet was reporting Elliott is one of the candidates for the Michigan job, which is one of the most significant jobs in all college football here. Fan base. What's the word of wisdom you offer to the fan base as Tony Elliott, your words, not my words, has gone from outhouse to penthouse in coaching circles?
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised that some schools haven't taken a look because, he posted a 10-win season at a school that's only done that once before in a legitimate Power 4 conference. It took a while to turn the program around, but he showed what he can do when he has the talent available. And if you're Michigan and Arkansas, certainly you have NIL money to change your rosters. I'm sure in Michigan they're looking for somebody who it's funny with coaching changes because sometimes you want a guy who can come in and you might not expect him to win 10 or 11 games a year, but you expect him to get your program in order so that 4 or 5 years after that, if he hasn't turned it around, then the next guy can. But you want somebody to clean up your program. And certainly it sounds like Michigan has some issues, but over the past several years. But Arkansas, they've just kind of floundered down there in the SEC, and I don't know what it's going to take to turn that program around. But that's a tough league. Once you lose a little ground, it's hard to make it up because there's no letting up by the other programs in that conference. They're always seeking to upgrade their coaching staffs or their rosters or their facilities or all three. So once you fall behind in the SEC, you got to perform some magic to get back up near the top.
What'd you make of that Michigan debacle? This head coach,
that was bizarre.
The scuttlebutt and the direct messages and the rumor mill is gaining significant momentum. All the Tom, Dicks, and Harry, I guess I should call them Jennifer, Carolines, and Sarahs are coming out and saying this coach is sliding into their DMs, offering them season tickets for – it's a PG show. I'll leave it at that. The viewers and listeners can read the national outlets. What'd you make of that stuff?
I've never heard of anything quite like it. It certainly puts a black eye on football, college football, and particularly the Michigan program. Not that the administrators had anything to do with it, but you don't know when a coach may go rogue like that and just do things that will embarrass the school and embarrass his family and everything else. But I've never heard of anything quite like that before. I've heard of coaches having extramarital affairs with co-eds or department
associates,
employees, associates, et cetera, stuff like that. But that's been going on for 40, 50 years at least, but nothing to this degree. This is opens up a whole new portal, I guess.
Jeremy Wilson's watching in Eastern Tennessee. He says the one that he's following most closely is Dabo Swinney and Death Valley. If he leaves Clemson, then Virginia fans should be worried with Tony Elliott. That's the job that could intrigue Tony Elliott the most.
Well, it's his alma mater, and so certainly that would be a huge pull on his heart. I don't know. I don't know if Dabo's going. I think if Dabo was going somewhere, he would have gone by now. But I don't think anything's going to change. I could be wrong. We could walk out of here in an hour, and the whole world might change, but. It seems like to me that if Dabo was leaving, he would be gone already, whether by choice or not by choice.
I 100% agree. You look at these major programs. Clemson's a major program. A lot of the change and the carousel happens before the season's over now, before the bowl season's over now, because these marquee programs are going after marquee talent and don't want to wait.
Yeah, and outside of Tony, who would be an automatic candidate. who else are you going to get? I mean, there's been so much of a musical chairs in the coaching industry. I think 25% turnover in head coaches in Power 4 football, which is significant. And I mean, who hasn't been selected already to go somewhere else? And how many guys are actually out of jobs right now that you would want to hire?
How does a Gator Bowl victory change that in any capacity? Or if it's the same now with Tony Elliott and the intrigue around recruiting him away from Charlottesville as it would be if he gets a Gator Bowl win?
I don't think it would change. If you're interested in a coach, you're looking at other things as to whether he can win a bowl game or not, because you don't know heading into a bowl game if your team has been weakened by guys who want to sit out or guys who are transferring, or your opponent for that matter, like against South Carolina a few years ago when several of their top players opted out of playing in the bowl, like Debo Samuels and some of the other outstanding players they had, and Virginia just had its way with that Gamecock team. But I don't think from an AD perspective that it changes that much.
Virginia football has Missouri. Fans are asking about the health of some of the Missouri players, specifically Missouri's quarterback. That's something to follow. We'll follow the storylines. I don't have much insight on the Missouri quarterback to offer personally.
Yeah, I don't either right now. We're getting into preparation for that starting today, so I'll be delving into that a little bit more as the week goes on. But I've heard there's some issues, but I don't know to what degree at this point.
Tigers 8-4 overall. Virginia 10-3 overall. This is a dogfight, and Vegas has Mizzou a 7-point favorite with the over/under at 48.5 as of December 16th. Chandler Morris all over the feed here. This one comes from the Panhandle of Florida. Chandler Morris, 6-year college football. Will he be the starter next year in Charlottesville?
Well, if he's here, he will be. It's hard to determine what the NCAA may come up with. I mean, at some point you see an appeal for an extra year of eligibility and you think it makes all the sense in the world and it'll be denied, and then you'll see another that you think there's no chance and it'll get cleared. But there's a lawsuit going on right now by a player, and I can't remember what school he's from, but who applied for an extra year of eligibility and was denied. And so he went out and hired an attorney and was suing to try to get that extra year of eligibility. I don't know if Chandler will go to that extreme, but that seems to be where we are in college sports now. It's all legalities, et cetera. But I don't know. I thought originally probably wasn't a high percentage of him being cleared for another year. That would be 7 years. And I'm guessing it goes back to the year he played in only 3 or 4 games at TCU and hurt his knee, to where he's trying to claim an extra year. But I guess you never know with the NCAA these days.
And, I don't blame Chandler Morris looking for another year.
Oh, I don't blame him either.
Yeah. Let the guy get paid. And if there's some gray area in college football, pursue the gray area, because the chances of playing professional football are not the best for Chandler Morris. Here's a tough question for you. Is it best for Virginia football to have Chandler Morris return for a 6 year?
I think it would be pretty darn good to have a guy with that kind of experience leading your team, and not only from the performance standpoint, but just from the leadership standpoint. I think I would think Tony Elliott would be delighted to have him back for another year. I don't see any negatives about that. you might make somebody else on the roster look around a little bit.
That's the question. What's the influence this has on like a Danny Kaelin?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Kaelin would. Well, I'm not sure, but because I don't know him that well, but you would think he would probably at least investigate what other options are available to him and who else might be interested.
Chandler Morris.
All these guys have agents now,
Right.
and as soon as any kind of news like that filters down to them, they're looking elsewhere. But I don't know. Kaelin might be the kind of kid that's happy here and knows that his role is secured for another couple of years afterward.
William McChesney, thank you for sharing the show. The mayor of McIntyre, Chad Wood, is watching the program in Crozet. He asks about Marcus Hagans, no longer at Penn State University. Penn State gone through some significant coaching change. Biscuit Hagans, one of the all-time favorites, one of the best players in Virginia football history, punt returner, wide receiver, quarterback, played in the National Football League. Any chance he returns to Charlottesville?
Well, as far as I know, there's no opportunity here at this point. There's no vacancies on the coaching staff. I haven't heard of anybody that's looking to leave, and I'm not sure that when Biscuit left here that I know publicly that the coach, they all said they have respect for one another and all that stuff, but I think there might have been some issues that caused him to leave Virginia, which I'm not sure that I ever thought I would see him do. But I think there was maybe some sort of friction that led to his departure.
And the friction was tied to Tony Elliott bringing in his own guys and his own staff.
Well, he brought in some of his staff. Biscuit was on the staff for a year or two, 2 years, I think. I believe that's correct. I know it was at least 1 year, but I was thinking 2. But I think maybe there was just a disagreement on how to handle things, coaching-wise or philosophy-wise. I think there was a clash there.
James Franklin, the former Penn State coach, the fired Penn State coach, now at Virginia Tech. The athletic department in Blacksburg has now announced an anonymous $20 million donation. This news just broke.
Yeah, I saw that.
$20 million for Virginia Tech, anonymous donation, the most significant donation in Virginia Tech athletic department history. Franklin making waves in Blacksburg. Any additional thoughts on James Franklin and Blacksburg, Goody Ratcliffe?
Well, they had those meetings and et cetera with donors and explained where they are or where they were and how necessary it was to gain those kind of funds if they wanted to be competitive, stay competitive in the ACC, and sort of a come to Jesus meeting just like Virginia had the year before that. And somebody took it to heart just like they did here, and I'm sure just about every university has some donors that are capable of doing that. It's just a matter of whether you can convince them to take that step. And I'm not surprised that Virginia Tech is throwing money into the ring just to I'm sure this year didn't sit well with their major donors and big football fans. And so that's the only answer out of this mess, really, under these present conditions. And so good for them.
We'll follow that very closely. This comment comes in from Buckhead, Georgia. We have a lot of viewers and listeners there. The downside of Chandler Morris coming back for a 6th year is the Virginia football team probably will be a focal point for a lot of the quarterbacks in the transfer portal, the Florida guy, the Nebraska guy, for example.
Well, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they brought in another quarterback if he leaves. Just because you need, it's good to have two experienced quarterbacks, and Kalen doesn't have a ton of experience, playing experience, and not to say that they wouldn't start him regardless, but I'm sure as a safety measure, if nothing else, because nobody else on the roster has any playing experience really, and it's always a good thing to have somebody back there who has been around the block a few times. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they went out and found another quarterback in the portal should Chandler Morris not return.
You got Jonathan watching in Harrisonburg. He asked the question, and Renee Pettiford, I promise we'll get to basketball and the Maryland game here in a matter of moments. She's peppering us with questions. We love Renee. We love when she watches the show. We know she's a passionate basketball fan. Jonathan in Harrisonburg is asking your thoughts on JMU making the college football playoff.
That's tremendous for their program. It's probably tremendous for the state of Virginia in football to have another program that's doing well. And it's probably unfortunate that they're going to be playing Oregon at Oregon to open up with, because what are they, like 24 points or something like that, underdogs, I believe.
I'll find that. I think it's great news for Virginia as well.
But I think it's good for football in the Commonwealth, and it gives kids another option, and it'll be interesting to see how they fare in that game. And it's a shame that Virginia couldn't have pulled that off to make it in, but they just got outplayed and outcoached, I think, by Duke in that ACC championship game.
With the take I gave, I think last week on the I Love CVille show, is I'm frustrated that Virginia did not play well against Duke. They were listless. They seemed to, at least emotionally, not get off the bus. I think there were a couple of suspect play calls.
Yeah.
Will Bettridge clearly has an accurate leg, but that accuracy is 40 yards and under. And to go for a kick that I think was 47 yards, the track record would suggest he would miss this, and he did. The gimmick gadget play in the overtime, head scratcher for me, especially after the second half. You've dominated the game with the run, and you just had a full length of the field drive to set into overtime. Why go gadget? The fourth quarter or the second half, go for it on fourth down instead of kicking the field goal and taking the points. Scratching my head as well. And I was frustrated with Virginia's performance and, frankly, with the coaching, some of the play calling with the coaching staff. But I don't hold that bitterness and frustration against JMU. I'm happy for JMU getting in the college football playoff.
Sure.
Because, as you said, it's great for football in the Commonwealth across the board, and JMU's earned it. Now, if the roles were reversed and it was, say, a Virginia Tech team instead of JMU that got into the college football, of course I'd be angry.
Yeah.
But UVA fans, JMU is not the arch nemesis. That's how I see it, at least.
Well, I don't know how the Virginia fan base sees JMU. I know there's a lot of crossover.
Yeah.
For sure.
Ton of crossover.
A lot of people who grew up Virginia fans went to JMU.
Right.
And so, there's a lot of people pulling for both programs.
A lot of blended households with Virginia fans and JMU fans.
Yeah, absolutely. And but I thought Duke's coaching staff had a brilliant game plan for that championship game, and just go into ball control and shorten the game by keeping Virginia's offense on the sidelines was George Welsh used to say there's more than one way to skin a cat, which I've always grew up with that.
Why do you want to skin a cat?
I've never quite understood that, but anyway, but they showed that, you don't have to do things the conventional way to try to win a football game, and it worked.
I mean, I'd skin an apple. I wouldn't skin a cat. What else do you skin, Judah? I'd skin a...
I guess you skin fish.
Skin a fish. Yeah, I'd skin a fish. I wouldn't skin a feline.
No.
I don't understand that, Coach.
I've never understood that one.
Interestingly...
It's an old-timey saying, but I don't know where it comes from.
Interestingly, from time
Maybe
to time...
somebody out there in our viewer land will have an answer to that.
Yeah, where's that come from, viewers and listeners? Very interestingly, you mentioned Coach Welsh. I from time to time have a cold libation or two at the mill room. At the Borsad, brought our oldest son after playing some squash. He had some superhero juice while I had a Basque double IPA from Basic City. Superhero juice is basically his version of a Shirley Temple.
Okay.
And sitting next to me was a very chatty and conversationalist George Welsh's daughter. Her first name is, I'm blanking on her first name, but had about a 30, 40-minute conversation. Goodness gracious, she enjoys the conversation.
Oh yeah, she's a great gal, great conversationalist.
I think you've interviewed her, right?
Oh, I have.
Yeah.
Back when George passed, I did a several part series on his career here, and even before he came here, and she gave me some great behind the scenes stories that added to it, and yeah, she knows college football. She's well versed in all that, and it's nice to have her back in this community.
Yeah, absolutely. Rob Neal's watching the program. He is a huge JMU booster and is making the trip to Oregon. Rob Neal, actually saw him yesterday. Looks like he was working on some spreadsheets yesterday. Rob Neal says that saying, "How would you skin a cat?" or "skinning a cat," most likely came from Blacksburg. He's throwing some shade at Virginia Tech right there. William McChesney is watching the program. He says, "How would you skin a cat without getting maimed yourself?" James Madison and Minerals watching the program. "Don't get me wrong, I hate losing in the ACC championship, but a trip to Jacksonville sounds a hell of a lot better than a trip to Oregon." And you asked the question about the line, JMU against Oregon, and you were on point, Hootie. It's 21 points. The Ducks are favored over the JMU Dukes. The over-under at 48.5. The line opened at 21.5. It's moved slightly to 21 according to the ESPN odds makers.
I've made that trip to Oregon. It's a long trip.
What'd you make that trip for?
Virginia played at Oregon. What year was that?
Is that football?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, and they got pretty much mauled. And but I went out there for a number of reasons. One was obviously to cover the game, but they had built at that point in time the nicest football center in America, and I heard they've replaced it since, which is unbelievable. Because
is that Phil Knight money? Yeah,
that was a staggering facility. I've never seen anything quite like it. I got a personal tour of it, and I also went out there and played golf at Bandon Dunes and Pacific Dunes. So I've made a little mini vacation out of it. But it was quite a trip. But that's Austin Stadium, something like that. Really neat football facility, stadium there, and it was a good experience.
You're on point. Autzen Stadium. Autzen Stadium. The man is an encyclopedia for football. That kickoff is the 20th of December. Rob, when are you leaving, Rob Neal, for this trip? Are you leaving in the next 48 hours? And give us some insight into your trip here. The 20th of December, which is Saturday, TNT 7:30 kickoff. JMU and the Oregon Ducks. Unbelievable story. I'm pulling for the Cinderella team. I'll be very straightforward. Comments continue to come in. Transfer portal, who should Virginia target if Chandler Morris does come back? That's a question for you from Pennsylvania.
If he does come back?
If he does come back, they're basically saying the quarterback position is full. Who should they target in the portal?
I'm not sure that they would bring in another quarterback if Chandler Morris comes back.
I think they mean other positions if he does come back. Yeah.
Well, I'd have to go over the entire roster and see, because they lose a lot. There's a lot of people that are going to be gone, not through the portal, but just because they've exhausted their eligibility. I think senior night down in Charlotte, they or was it here? I can't remember. I guess it was here. They brought out, I don't know, it seemed like 30 or 40 people that them and their families to recognize them. But I imagine they're going to be targeting a lot of people. I'm sure they've been at work for weeks, if not months, on this about what positions they may need to strengthen and what they're in the market for, and poring over film and doing as much background checking as they can. It would be an amazing process. Somebody ought to do a documentary on how a coaching staff dissects all this information. And
that's a college football version of a war room.
It really is. Maybe even more so,
yeah,
because there's so many people involved. Instead of like 13 to 15 guys, you're talking about 30 to 50 in some cases. But I imagine they're going to be bringing in a ton of people. And the portal is shorter this year, so it could be a real busy month. I guess, is it January 2nd that it opens, I believe? I'm not sure about that, but I think that's right. And it's only open for I don't know if it's 30 or 45 days this year. I think they've shortened it. But and I don't know that there's a second portal like there was a year ago after spring practice is over. So I don't know if you have to get all your hay in the barn in the first month of the portal, or if there's a second opportunity like there was before.
Interesting questions come in from Cliff Daisy, who's watching on the Eastern Shore. And first, he loves giving the weather report, and I love the weather report from Cliff.
Yes.
He says it's very cold here on the Eastern Shore. Saltwater Creek is frozen over this morning.
Ooh.
He's looking forward to the bowl game and the basketball game, and he's concerned, or he wants us to discuss if any of the current players will be not playing or lacing up the cleats in the Gator Bowl because of transfer portal or chasing other football teams and aspirations.
That's a good question. I think once. I'm trying to recall last year, not that there was a bowl game, but yeah, I think it depends on the coach. There were some programs last year where people had declared for the portal and they still were allowed to play in the bowl game, and there were other programs where once they were in the portal, they were essentially out of the program. So a lot of that may depend on the coach, but. So far, Virginia's been pretty fortunate with only 3 guys. One of them, obviously, is Prevard, who was, I would imagine, would demand some pretty good attention in the portal because he's had some really good credentials this year with all the interceptions and stuff that he created. And
all ACC defensive back.
Yeah, and.
Played 1 year here in Charlottesville, and he's already looking for a pay. I mean, I would imagine this is looking for a payday here.
And corners are a premium,
100%.
And so he could probably command a pretty good fee on the market. And I don't know if Virginia would. I don't know what their philosophy is on trying to keep a guy. I know they.
You think this is a leverage play?
Make an attempt to.
You think this is a leverage play here?
I don't know. It's hard to say. It could be, and that's the world we're in right now, and you don't know what agents are saying to these kids. Some agents are terrific, and some are somewhat unscrupulous. So don't don't know, really. Not knowing the kid that well, other than what we see after games and during the week for interviews, it's hard to get a read on some of these guys.
Cliff also adds some color on the catfish, skinning a cat. He says the early written appearance on different ways to skin a cat is 1830s to 1840s, and it possibly involves from the catfish in American dialect, or simply using cat for its slightly grim imagery through its exact source. He's offering a little color and commentary here how to skin a cat.
Yeah. Ray would know that.
Judah may know how to skin a cat over there. Rob Neal says
I don't think so.
The Dukes are taking 6,000 fans out to Oregon, and that Oregon and JMU will come down to JMU, the offensive line, JMU's O-line surviving Oregon's rush in front seven, and the referees allowing JMU's defensive backs to play football. Comments are coming in extremely quickly here. We do have to talk basketball at the 11:07 marker of the show here. Additional thoughts here with football, Hootie?
Yeah, it'll be just interesting to see how Virginia prepares for this game. And, Tony has proven to be pretty good with extra preparation time. He's 5-0, 5-0, or 6-0, coming off of bye weeks during his career, which is an extra week of preparation. So I would imagine that the team will be as well prepared as they can possibly be. It's just they're going to be facing a team that's
it's good,
a serious football team. I mean, the four losses they experienced were all to ranked SEC teams at the time that they played. So you want to get a taste of SEC football, you're going to get that December 27th.
8-4 Missouri, 10-3 UVA. Tigers 7-point favorite, over under 48.5. December 27th kickoff on national television. The losses Missouri this year: Alabama 27-24. Bama was the 8th ranked team at the time. Vanderbilt 17-10. Vandy the 10th ranked team. Texas A&M 38-17. Oklahoma 17-6. So in all the losses, the Bama was a 3-point loss. Vandy a 7-point loss. Oklahoma was an 11-point loss. Only Texas A&M 38-17 were they really blown out. This is a really good football team, ladies and gentlemen.
It really is
a really, really good football team here.
It'll be the best team Virginia's played in a while.
Best team Virginia's played in a while, absolutely. Basketball, switching gears, Maryland Terrapins. Elijah Saunders returns. Maryland Terrapins are 6-5, 1-1. I missed the Maryland Terrapin days of Steve Blake and Juan Dixon, Lonnie Baxter, Chris Wilcox. The Maryland basketball team seems to have lost a step since it's left the Atlantic Coast Conference. Still, Virginia fans that follow the program closely will wax nostalgic because that Maryland-UVA rivalry at one time was a pretty bitter rivalry.
It truly was. There's no love lost between the two fan bases, and I'm sure that still exists, even though they're not in the same conference. But I think the epitome of that disdain for Maryland fans came when Justin Anderson went down at not Coalfield House, but whatever the name of that arena is now. I think they've renamed it. And there was a hush over the thing, and somebody said, "I hope it's broken," or something, and there were some cheers, and that was a pretty classless move, and I think that heightened Virginia's disdain for Maryland fans, although I think it was always there. But there's always been some friction between those two fan bases, and just like there was Duke and Maryland in basketball. But yeah, Buzz Williams will be back for the second year in a row. He came here to JPJ last year with a good Texas A&M team, and Virginia beat them soundly.
I like Buzz.
And now he'll be back with Maryland this time around. And he's a solid coach. He's a good coach. He's an interesting character. Gives really good post-game interviews, although you might have to wait forever for him to come into the press room. But I'm sure it's a game that Ryan Odom is looking forward to, and his staff, to go against the Terps. And Virginia fans like giving Buzz a little bit of the needle because of his sweating. I don't know if he's found a cure for that or not, but it used to be a point of delight for Virginia fans to see him take his sport coat off because of his sweating issues.
What do we know about this team, Hoodie? They're a top 25 team. They got a lot of talent, a lot of depth. They got prowess, offensive talent in the front court, the back court. With 10 games in, what are they, 9-1? What do we know about this team?
I think this is a team that he has purposely brought along slowly. Excuse me. Still haven't gotten rid of all this stuff. I think his plan is working well. I think he's brought them along gradually, and they're getting better by the week. And I know there's some places he wants to clean up, like defensive rebounding and taking care of the basketball. They had 22 turnovers against Dayton and had trouble inbounding the ball the latter part of that game, and allowed Dayton to cut the margin significantly. But I think for the most part, things are pretty darn good, and their shooters seem to be getting more comfortable. It's awfully hard to pick on one guy because there's so many guys that can hurt you. And I mean, who saw Jakari White's performance against Dayton coming? I mean,
dude couldn't miss.
It was really wild sitting there in the arena and watching the ball thrown to him, and before it even got his hand into his hands, the Virginia crowd was already essentially counting the three.
He's a fan favorite.
He's definitely a fan favorite, and he has his own little army too of guys with
the Jakarmi.
His little their green T-shirts and
wearing his face on a T-shirt.
It's pretty cool.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
Not many players have that kind of a allegiance, but DeRitter just keeps getting better and better. I mean, that guy's an NBA player without any question. And they've just got so many guys that can hurt you, and it's fun watching Chance Mallory.
Oh my gosh, he's my favorite player in so long.
He's just not a freshman. You can call him a freshman, but he's not a freshman. That guy's good.
Ralph Sampson last year came on the Jerry and Jerry show, sat right next to you.
Yes,
and he said on the show, Chance Mallory is a senior at St. Anne's Belfield Academy, could start on last year's UVA men's basketball team. Yeah. And his crystal ball proved to be right.
Ralph was right.
Yeah.
No question about it. And he could start now, but Ryan likes him coming off.
Now.
Ryan likes him coming off the bench to add a little juice to the mix.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see if Chance Mallory continues to come off the bench as the competition stiffens and we head into ACC play. Because the eye test, I mean, you don't even have to be a basketball, guru to see the difference between Hall and Chance Mallory. And it's no shade on Hall to have a point guard with leadership, but with Hall's experience. He takes care of the basketball. He's a pass-first guy, loves to get everybody involved. He's limited offensively. He is not the defensive presence that Chance is, and that's not a knock on Hall. Hall's still a good defender. Chance is just an elite defender.
Yeah.
And what most impresses me about Chance Mallory is his rebounding ability.
That's uncanny, and that just comes from years of playing with a chip on your shoulder and desire and passion to get the basketball.
Yeah. He has a an IQ or an instinct. Dennis Rodman had this. I'm by no means comparing Chance Mallory to Dennis Rodman.
Right.
It's not comparison. Dennis Rodman had a feel for where the ball was going to go when the ball was being released by the shooter. And a lot of guys just don't have that. Chance seems to have that. Maryland game, Saturday. What do you make of this matchup?
Well, you're always concerned with Virginia coming off of exams and a layoff like that, even though they practice, etc. It still sometimes takes a while to get reacclimated into game action. And I don't know how you there's no way to simulate that other than just going against one another in practice. And, sometimes when you have a roster that good, that can be enough. But we've seen some really good Virginia teams come out of exams and kind of stumble and struggle to win against far inferior teams. And then we've seen some, not too many, but a couple come out red hot and blow people away. But it's usually the other way around. It usually takes some time to get the rust off. And I don't know if Ryan Odom has a different philosophy on how to approach that issue or not. But it's always a concern when you're coming out of a break like that, 11 days without at least 11 days without a game, and playing an opponent that certainly is worthy. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that.
What do you got, Hootie? What do you got in the hopper at JerryRatcliffe.com?
Well, we're following the portal. It doesn't appear that there's going to be a lot of action on Virginia guys leaving. Yeah, I hear you knocking on wood down there. But I think we said that last year, and then the floodgates opened. But I think with the fact that they have the money to keep players happy, will probably benefit them this time around. But we'll be looking at that. We'll be looking at Missouri and excuse me. Certainly tuning in on the basketball with the Maryland game coming up. It's a big game, et cetera, et cetera.
National televised game, Maryland Terrapins Saturday, Virginia basketball back in action, and then the big one, the Gator Bowl on the 27th, right after Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. Judah Wickhauer is behind the camera. The Elmers glue the team. Jerry Ratcliffe, the star of the show, the namesake of JerryRatcliffe.com. Check out JerryRatcliffe.com for anything and everything UVA sports related. Follow him on Twitter, where he offers musings, jokes, and some fantastic videos of dogs, adorable dogs. Very much enjoy his Twitter content, JerryRatcliffe.com. My name is Jerry Miller, and this is the Jerry and Jerry Show on a chilly Tuesday in Charlottesville, just 2 miles from the John Paul Jones Arena and Scott Stadium. Goodness gracious, woke up this morning, and the feels-like temperature was like 17. Earlier this week, it was down to 0.
Yeah.
The feel-like temperature. It was brutal. I took my German Shepherd, Max, out to go to the bathroom. He went outside, looked around, and literally came back inside without going to the bathroom.
Yeah,
he refused to go outside.
I've had that experience with my 2 dogs as well. They don't linger.
yeah, and I was like, dude, you have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to go to the bathroom. The I Love CVille show is up at 12:30. Thank you kindly for watching. So long, everybody.
Nicely done, Hoots. Same here, brother.